that Take 'em Down Jacks had gone through to get Confederate statues removed from public spaces. But Mr. Earl Johnson took it to another level. And it's the level we're at now, this proceeding at this federal courthouse that is a step closer to removing these things. So I want to introduce Earl Johnson.
Thank you so much. Thank you much, Wells. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody. Take them down. 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 There is no question what tributes to white supremacy look like. They look like Confederate Street. They look like Jackson and Stonewall Street. They look like Jefferson and Davis Streets. They surround us as I speak today. This case is about my dignity as a Black American. Do I have the right to fully enjoy our parks, our places of congregation, our streets, our schools, our buildings, our courthouses? Just a few miles from us, there was a courthouse with a memorial to the Ku Klux Klan, 3 Klan members hooded on horseback, located in the lobby of the courthouse. What does that tell? What does that tell people? What does that tell people about us? What does it tell people about how the government feels about me as a Black American? And so when I see a street named after a Confederate, when I walk into a park that has a tribute to the Confederacy, that is demeaning me as an American, making me less than human, less than a second-class citizen. And so this is what this case is all about. It's amazing to have so many people in support throughout this city. You needn't be Black to understand the hatred that exists, that is exemplified by these tributes. I stand on great shoulders today. Granted, my father was Martin Luther King's attorney. He did desegregate most all of Florida during the 1950s and 60s. But I stand on the shoulders of great leaders like Ben Frazier. The late Ben Frazier was an icon, and he was with us today in spirit. His daughter is leading the way. Kelly joined the case. The Jacksonville Northside Coalition of Northside, the Northside Coalition of Jacksonville joined our case as a friend of the court, as did Wells. And Wells Todd has been a mentor and a leader on this issue out front from the very beginning. Wells, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your determination and your perseverance. We have not yet begun to fight. We've not yet begun to fight. I expect a good ruling from today. I'm happy that for the first time in 4 years, I had my day in court. Yes. And those 3 judges from the 11th Circuit seemed interested, they were engaged, and it was a lovely opportunity to explain my case today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Earl. Our next speaker is Kelly Frazier. Kelly Frazier is Ben Frazier's daughter, and she has taken the reins of Northside Coalition and joined this suit. This is a protracted struggle that we're in. It started in 1619, when the first one of our ancestors was dragged from a ship designed to carry human cargo. At that moment, the struggle began. Our people didn't just lay down, but there's a long history of resistance to chattel slavery. There's a long history of resistance to Jim Crow. And as Earl said, the struggle has just begun. So I want to introduce now to you, Kelly Frazier.
Good morning. My name is Kelly Frazier, president of the Northside Coalition of Jacksonville, where we show up and speak out against forms of social, racial, and economic injustices. I grew up hearing the saying from Dr. Maya Angelou and my mother, when you know better, you do better. Say it with me. When you know better, you do better. We all make decisions based on what we know in the moment. But when you learn the truth, once you gain new insight, once you see injustice clearly, you're responsible for changing it. And that's why we're here today, because we know better now. And it's time that this city maintains its monumental efforts in being a better Jacksonville and getting the rest of Florida and others to follow our lead. Confederate monuments, they're not just old statues. They're not just symbols of hate. They are shrines to rebellion that fought to keep our ancestors in chains. The Confederacy lost the war, but the ideology that they fought for, that's still standing tall in public spaces, such as schools, bridges, and street signs. So let's be clear. These monuments were not built to remember history. They were built to rewrite it. They were put up during times when Black people were making progress, to intimidate us, to silence us, and to remind us of who was in charge. But we know better now. And we do what?
Do better.
We know the Confederacy was a treasonous insurrection. We know it was built on slavery and white supremacy. Jacksonville got it right to remove the Confederate statues from public spaces. And hopefully the judges in this case will see progress in our city and maintain that. It shouldn't even be a question if our tax dollars should be used to maintain these monuments. Why would anybody honor a cause that was made to destroy our country just to keep Black people down? This is not just about statues. This is about everything that they represent. This is about the legacy of slavery that didn't end with just chains. It morphed into redlining, housing discrimination, the school-to-prison pipeline, unequal access to health care, environmental racism, and much more. And all of this stems from one thing: hate. Hate has been passed down policy by policy, and quite frankly, monument by monument. My father, the late Benjamin Frazier, once said, "Our fight is not against bronze, metal, or marble, but against racism and white supremacy that these monuments represent." And he was right. The fight continues even here right now. So when it comes to the Confederate monuments, we want them removed from every public space, and the financial responsibility removed from all they aim to suppress and manipulate. Confederate names, symbols, markers, and monuments must go. Not next year, not next decade, but now.
Now.
Thank you.
Take them down! Take them down!
Take them down. Before I introduce my next speaker, I want you to picture this. I want you to picture a mother or father walking through a park that has a Confederate statue or monument in it with their 6-year-old daughter or son. And that child looks up at that statue or monument and says, "Mommy or Daddy, what does that represent? Who is that?" And you have to tell your son or daughter that it is a monument to a person who fought to maintain the enslavement of your ancestors. What does that do to a child? What does that do to them emotionally, psychologically? What does it do to their self-esteem? And so in the year 2025, 2025, 21st century, we are still here fighting this battle regarding the false ideology of white supremacy, because that's what it is. They're not superior. White folks are not superior. But we are still here fighting to end this mythology. And I'll tell you what, those who support these statues, like the white supremacist who's sitting in the White House, or the governor who's sitting in Tallahassee, this is something they will fight to the bitter end. Because the symbolism of these statues represent white control over our economic system, over our institutions, over our schools, over our community. Redlining. Redlining, as Kelly spoke to, directly comes out of this ideology of white supremacy. Jim Crow, same thing. America was ground zero for this mythology. From the genocide that was carried out against the indigenous nations, to the 246 years of chattel slavery against Africans, to the Jim Crow era, to Nazis actually coming to the South to learn how to discriminate against the Jewish population, to what is happening today in Palestine. This ideology of white supremacy is a poison. It's a cancer that must be surgically removed from our society in order for us to progress, in order for us to unite. I say this, and I want to say it directly, and I hope the media picks this up. And I'm talking to Governor DeSantis. He says that teaching black history is not teaching history, it's indoctrination. He says that black history is irrelevant. He says that teaching black history to white students will make them feel uncomfortable. Uncomfortable.
Because if he can do it for his people, I can do it for my people.
So I want to say to Governor
You need to
DeSantis,
speak the truth, and if you want Brother Anderson to speak the truth, then I'll do it. Because if he can do it for his people,
I want to say
for my brothers and
to the governor, if he believes that we are all equal, then he should understand that black history must be taught in our schools. Because if it's not, it's a detriment to our children's self-esteem. If it is not, it is also a detriment to white children's self-esteem. Because when you do not teach the history of African Americans and Africans to white children, they grow up to be white supremacists. They grow up to believe in the mythology of white supremacy. They grow up to join the Klan. They grow up to join the Brotherhood. They grow up to join white supremacist organizations that exist throughout this country. And I think Florida ranks number one in white supremacist organizations. So I want to say to Governor DeSantis, this is a challenge to Governor DeSantis. I want you to pick this up. Do you see the harm and the uncomfortable feelings that affect black children as much as you do whites? Do you understand that when you are not teaching black history to all children, and especially to African Americans, that you are intentionally destroying their self-esteem? You are intentionally damaging them emotionally and psychologically. So to Governor DeSantis, we challenge you to come to Jacksonville. We've done this before, but we would like you to come to Jacksonville and sit down and speak to the community, black and white. Because we are done with this. We are finished with it. But as long as you keep perpetrating this crime, we will be in the streets. We will be holding press conferences, rallies, marches, educationals. I want to say this. Every Friday, including today, right across the street at City Hall, we have a picket line up from 11:30 to 12:30 every Friday. Why? Because this city has committed a crime against the Brentwood community on the north side by building a medical examiner's office and a morgue in a residential area, sitting right in someone's backyard. And if you haven't been up to see it, you need to drive up there and watch it. That is a legacy and the continuation of redlining. And it's racist. And once again, it's part of this false ideology of white supremacy. I want to introduce someone from an organization that's been also involved in this, because this is a grassroots movement. All the communities and citizens that are here today come from different organizations, different communities, different parts of the city, from the beaches to the north side, east side, west side, south side. And this next person is a fighter for police accountability, to put an end to police brutality. I want to introduce to you from JCAC, Monica Gold.
We want justice, you say how? Y'all are gonna repeat after me. We want justice, you say how? Remove Confederate monuments now. We're gonna try that again. Y'all are gonna repeat after me, okay?
Right.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Remove Confederate monuments now.
Remove Confederate monuments now.
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Remove Confederate monuments now.
Remove Confederate monuments now.
Greetings all, my name is Monica Gold. I'm speaking on behalf of the Jacksonville Community Action Committee. We're an organization fighting for police accountability in the city and striking blows against a system that emboldens state and police terror. State and police terror are symptoms of the disease that is white supremacy, and these racist relics of the past are spreading this sickness into the hearts and minds of our communities. This either looks like foolish people believing the lies of the grand old South, becoming Southern sympathizers, siding with traitors and losers, or it looks like righteous people that do know the truth, that do stand on the side of justice, being forced to confront relics of terror day in and day out, say shame.
Shame!
And as if these relics of terror are not bad enough, this evil is then compounded by a revisionist history presented as a defense of these symbols, say shame.
Shame!
Outside of being a community organizer, I'm a middle school teacher. Year after year, my students ask the same questions after reading texts about Black history, and Black history is American history. There's no two ways about it. They ask, how come enslaved people didn't fight back? How did they allow this to go on? They ask these questions because they are taught a humiliating and demoralizing version of events. They ask these questions because they are not taught about the Haitian Revolution, where enslaved people overthrew French colonial rule and established the first Black republic, thereby abolishing slavery in Haiti. They ask these questions because they are not taught about Nat Turner's rebellion, where 60+ slave owners were brought to justice in a heroic act of resistance by enslaved people. They ask these questions because they are not taught about the Amistad Rebellion, where enslaved people seized the ship they were forced onto, demanded their return to Africa, and galvanized the abolitionist movement. They are not taught that their ancestors had full and rich lives and customs prior to being brutally abducted from their homelands. They are not taught that their ancestors resisted their enslavers every step of the way. That they were willing to secure their freedom by any means necessary, and they have tasked us with carrying out the struggle for self-determination. They say slavery is the great stain of American history, but the fact that my students have to ask these questions, the fact that we have to utilize the court system to exact what should be a simple solution to a problem of Confederate monuments demonstrates to me that the people in power are not all that bothered by the stain. If anything, they seem quite proud of it. Say shame.
Shame!
Well, we know the types of people we're up against. We also know the types of people who stand shoulder to shoulder with us until victory is won. So I am assured today that these monuments will once and for all be brought down, just as I am sure that we will see an end to police and state violence. The power of the people is stronger than the people in power, and we will one day see symbols of freedom rain down on every street in Jacksonville.
Take them down! Take them down! Take them down!
Take them down! We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Remove Confederate monuments now!
Remove Confederate monuments now!
We want justice, you say how?
We want justice, you say how?
Remove Confederate monuments now!
Remove Confederate monuments now!
Thank you.
Take them down!
Thank you, Monica. When I mentioned the picket line that we have every Friday, that was an invitation to everybody. We have water. If you have to stand in the shade, stand in the shade. We don't want anybody to pass out. But we have to send a message to the city. We have to send a strong message to the city that they were fooling with the wrong people this time. They didn't inform the community that they were going to put this building in that community. They never told them they were going to do it.
Tell it! Tell it! Tell it!
Because they tried it in Fort Lauderdale.
Right.
Same thing. They notified the black community there. And the black community stood up and shut it down. So when they came here, they said, we're not going to say anything. Let's just start building. And that's what they did. Tonight, I hope some of you got a handout, a flyer, regarding part of our educational series. A movie on redlining will be shown at a church here in, I think, San Marco. Please come out. 1620 Nodder. Please come out. We're taking this show on the road. So if you have organizations that want to be educated about redlining, let us know. We'll come to you. So when I mentioned before about all these different countries that took their cue from America regarding how to segregate and how to harm people emotionally and psychologically. I mentioned a number of them, but I didn't mention South Africa. I didn't mention apartheid, because that's where the Boers got their education on how to create apartheid, from here. They got it from the American South. And we have to understand that when a white nationalist, a white supremacist president brings the president of South Africa to the White House and tries to convince the white population in this country that a genocide is being carried out against white people. It is an insult. It is a total repugnant statement when you think about the number of South Africans that died under the white apartheid regime. I was in South Africa a couple of years ago, and I saw all the land as we drove through it. All this fertile land still owned by white farmers. And this man in the White House is so filled with this idea of white superiority that he would claim that there's a genocide being carried out against white people. I want to inform y'all, those people who came into the United States from South Africa, they're not farmers. They're friends of who? Elon Musk. They're not farmers. Yeah. Because Trump is building an army. He's building an army to move on to the next step. Because as that slogan goes, as that writing goes, and I'll paraphrase it, they came for the immigrants first, and I didn't speak up.
Come on.
They came for the African Americans, and I didn't speak up. They came for the women, and I didn't speak up. And they came for me,
Well,
and there was no one left to speak up for me.
come on.
So I want you all to understand that this struggle is still just unfolding. And I want to thank everybody who came out here. Like I said, I want to invite you to our picket line. And I look around here, and sometimes it's hard to believe that in Florida, in ground zero, because that's where we are, that we can pull people together who will take a stand against racism, against the false ideology of white supremacy, and who will fight and fight to the bitter end. So I want to thank all of you again. I want you to come out tonight. I want you to join our picket line. I want you to go online. We have a site. And all I can say again is from the bottom of my heart, thank you all.
Power to the people!
Power to the people!
Fight continues.
Yes.
Any questions from the press for anyone? Any questions from the media?
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
grab our mic. That lighting's really rough. That's why I got to down here.
Oh, sorry. I don't want to break it. Boy, you must be hot in the suit, huh?
Man, it is. It's a scorcher.
Yeah, we'll probably all do it at once if that's okay with you, so you don't have to do it 3 times.